Three, two, one.
Welcome to the Broadcast Podcast. I'm Michael Memis, joined by Daniel Goodstadt, and we have a very special guest, a legendary broadcaster. You know him. Hopefully you love him.
Maybe.
Joe Tessitore. I mean, hopefully.
Maybe, Michael. We don't know. Not everybody does.
They're the haters.
What's going on?
Yeah. It's going good. Loving, going to the broadcast camp. It's been a great experience, meeting all these great people, including you. So one of your colleagues at ESPN, Jeff Passan, he went on the Dan Lambert show earlier this year and did an Elmo impression. Now, do you have any voice impressions or any special talents that no one knows about that you could reveal now?
I don't think so. I can juggle.
Ooh.
I can juggle.
I wish we had. We should have had a ball.
And I
ball
can.
balls
And
list.
my kids love this because they're like your middle-aged dad. But when I had a catastrophic football injury, so the only sport I couldn't do anything with cleats anymore. So when I was in college, I trained in a boxing gym, a hardcore, like gritty Boston boxing gym, and then trained when I moved back to New York. In Hartford, I trained in a gritty gym for 3 more years. So I jump rope, like in a crazy way. So I can still pull that bar trick out. But other than that, no, I don't do voice impersonations or wacky things outside of that. Although, maybe my family would tell you otherwise. I don't know.
What's your record for the, I guess, most times around on a jump rope you've had?
Most times around? No,
Yeah.
like I could jump rope for 45 straight
45.
minutes, like crisscross, like Rocky Balboa stuff. Like, yeah. I don't want to be a braggy kind
you
of
gotta
guy.
go for the Guinness Book World
I don't know
World
about
Records
Guinness,
now.
but not now, not in my current conditioning coming off of like drinking wine and eating a lot. But yes, no, that level of jump rope.
What is the greatest challenge you've ever faced while broadcasting?
My father died on the day that I was getting ready to do a football. I was on the West Coast getting ready to do a broadcast on ESPN. Not to bring up a sad subject here. I'm going to answer you honestly. So, I get a phone call that your father passed away, heart attack, and you're hours away from going on the air in primetime on ESPN to broadcast a major football game. You got to ask yourself where you are in life and what you're committed to. And, they were ready to send a plane, bring me back to the East Coast. I went through and did the broadcast that night. That was not easy at all, as you can imagine. But professional, this is a career I care greatly about, as my father was very proud of what I was doing. And that was undoubtedly the most difficult day of broadcasting I've had, as you can imagine. There were other challenging things. A lot of sleep-deprived, travel-stressed, long days, a lot of bad support on broadcast that you're trying to slog through. You're going to make mistakes when you're on air. When you've been on air as long as I have, doing as many shows as I have, you're going to make mistakes that you can't let that undo you in a broadcast. But, I would say undoubtedly getting word that my father passed away when you're getting ready to go on the air.
Now, speaking of that, since you mentioned stuff from your personal life, what advice would you give to aspiring broadcasters, or even just people that want to be part of sports media, in terms of that travel, in terms of balancing family life and the sports media?
You got to
life?
be all the way in, and you can't have your family. Your family needs to be infused with your career. So for my kids, now my kids are older. I have a son in college. I have a daughter who's a junior in high school. When they were growing up, that meant that they were on the road with me. Going to Christmas vacation became, what bowl games am I broadcasting? Spring breaks could be, what fights or what college basketball games am I broadcasting, or what world championship fights? So they've had many vacations at the Orange Bowl and in Vegas, and your wife has to be completely supportive and can't resent the fact that you're getting on a plane again, because it's not a vacation, it's work, and this is what I do. And in my case, that's always been the case. My family is heavily invested in sports. We are a sports family, to the point where everybody has their own sports life. So there are many times now where we're often splintered around the country. My son plays major college football. My daughter is a world-ranked squash player. She plays all over the country, all over the world. And my wife is a USTA tennis player. So we all have our own sports lives. So having a family that loves it passionately helps greatly.
Okay.
But I'm on the road a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any like really bad relationships with like any player you've ever covered?
Yeah, I mean there are guys who I've covered and guys who I deal with who I may not have a lot of love for, or respect for, and I may say something on air or be very straight with them, or not buy into it, or may not respect them for things that they've done. I would tell you Floyd Mayweather, the world champion, is on that list. And
Yes.
I don't have a lot of respect for anybody who strikes a woman. Floyd has been convicted and has gone to jail for that. And I've been assigned many Floyd events, Sports Center and ESPN, and I did the interview when he retired 4 months after the Pacquiao fight. Was in his gym for hours on hours, did the interview with him. And when he sits there and says, I'm the best ever, I'm like, I don't think you're the best ever. And most boxing experts would disagree. Sugar Ray Robinson is the best pound-for-pound fighter ever, and probably don't have Floyd Mayweather in the top 10. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be a good person. But, I would say he's somebody on the list that I don't have the greatest relationship with. He probably didn't enjoy his time with me on a set, and that's just the truth. And then there are some coaches who are a little unnecessarily surly and bitter because I understand they're competing and they're wound up. So that's reality.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great having you. This is the Broadcast Podcast with Michael Memis and Daniel Goodstadt signing out.
Thank you, Michael and Daniel.